everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. Today we will be continuing our exploration of fast facts for the various Disney Vacation Club home resorts located on the Walt Disney World resort property. Previously in this series, we've covered Old Key West. In this video, we will be going over the Boulder Ridge Villas located at the Wilderness Lodge Resort. The Boulder Ridge Villas are in a standalone building, however, it is not a standalone DVC resort. Boulder Ridge is part of the Wilderness Lodge Resort area. These villas opened in the year 2000 and were originally known just as the Villas at Wilderness Lodge. Therefore, you will sometimes see them denoted as VWL. In 2016, this original name was then changed to Boulder Ridge Villas to help differentiate these from Copper Creek. Note that Boulder Ridge and Copper Creek, although they are both located at the Wilderness Lodge and both are DVC properties, are completely separate Disney Vacation Club properties. Meaning if you own at Boulder Ridge, you do not also get 11-month priority home booking window at Copper Creek. Having been built in 2000, Boulder Ridge is one of the older Disney Vacation Club resorts, and Boulder Ridge is due for a full refurbishment. Disney Vacation Club differentiates between what they call a soft goods and a hard goods refurb. Soft goods are things like bedding, carpeting, curtains, and in contrast, hard goods is far more extensive and includes furniture and the layout in the rooms. Often, the design of the rooms will also be updated during this hard goods refurbishment. Generally, DVC resorts get a soft goods refurb every 7 years and a hard goods refurb every 14 years. The full hard goods refurbishment for Boulder Ridge was announced to take place in 2020. Given the pandemic, I don't believe that this renovation work has begun yet at Boulder Ridge, however, it is on the top of the list for DVC's priorities. The overall theme and ambiance at Boulder Ridge Villas matches that of the Wilderness Lodge. This resort area is themed to national park lodges, so think the Pacific Northwest, Yellowstone, those sort of vibes. It's got that wonderful, homey, elevated log cabin feel. In my opinion, the Wilderness Lodge resort area is where I personally feel the most away from Disney World in the best way possible. That whole area is so chill and relaxing and doesn't have that constant buzz of theme park chaos coming in and out. And of course, nature is a prominent feature at the Wilderness Lodge, which I personally love. The Wilderness Lodge main lobby area is truly massive and stunning. This is an 8-story atrium that includes a huge fireplace and totem pole, as well as a little bridge that goes over running water. The grandeur of it all is quite imposing, but given all of the natural elements, it does still feel extremely relaxing. And while the Wilderness Lodge lobby is hard to beat in my opinion, the Boulder Ridge building's specific lobby is pretty stunning too. The Boulder Ridge lobby does still have a fireplace and an atrium. Although it is smaller in scale, it evokes the same feelings that the Wilderness Lodge lobby does. There are also a lot of big, comfortable chairs and rocking chairs included throughout the resort, but especially inside and outside of that Boulder Ridge atrium area. These chairs are a great place to just sit down, relax, and take in the vibe. Located just off of the Boulder Ridge lobby is the Carolwood Pacific Room. This contains a lot of Walt Disney history that may be of interest to you. Moving on to a main factor, cost. Currently, initial purchase price from Disney is $176 per point. On the resale market, of course, prices are going to vary, but it's pretty common to be able to find contracts for anywhere between $95 to $100 per point. For Disney Vacation Club, that initial purchase price is actually relatively cheap. The amount of points required to book a stay at Boulder Ridge is pretty average. For the most part, it's not a steal, but it's also not crazy expensive. In all of the villa categories across all of the DVC seasons, you will essentially find that the number of points required to stay at Boulder Ridge compared to all of the other resorts will be somewhere in the middle. However, if you factor in your proximity to the Magic Kingdom and really only compared to other Magic Kingdom DVC resorts, it starts to look much more like a bargain. The other Magic Kingdom resorts are Bay Lake Tower, located at the Contemporary, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian. Points per night required to stay at the Grand Floridian and the Polynesian far exceed the amount that you would need to stay at Boulder Ridge. If you're lucky enough to snag a standard view room at Bay Lake Tower, depending on the various DVC season, that villa at Bay Lake Tower may cost a few less points than the same size villa at Boulder Ridge. I believe the maximum number of points you would save when comparing those two for a week-long stay is 20. But generally speaking, it's going to be much more on the order of just a few points. And of course, if you end up staying in a Lakeview or a theme park view room at Bay Lake Tower instead, those are much more expensive than the standard view rooms at Boulder Ridge. Annual dues at Boulder Ridge are a bit on the high end. For 2020, it was around $7.32 per point. When considering only the Disney World DVC resorts, this is cheaper only than Riviera, Animal Kingdom, and Copper Creek. So when considering all of the factors for overall cost, your initial purchase price is actually fairly cheap, especially if you buy on the resale market. The number of points you need to stay for any vacation is fairly average, but then your annual dues are going to be a little bit on the high end. And note that contracts expire at Boulder Ridge in the year 2042. This partially helps explain why that initial purchase price is lower. Simply put, you have 20 or more less years for that contract at Boulder Ridge than you would at other resorts that expire 2060 or later. The total inventory at Boulder Ridge is fairly modest. There are between 136 and 180 rooms in total, spread out across a single 5-story building. There are 20 dedicated studios, 27 dedicated 1-bedrooms, 44 dedicated 2-bedrooms, and then 45 lock-offs. Note that Boulder Ridge does not offer any grand villas, so if you really want to be staying in a 3-bedroom grand villa, then Boulder Ridge probably is not your best choice for a home resort. Also, all of the inventory is categorized as just one view type. There aren't officially different views. However, of course, some rooms have more desirable views than others, even if they are all categorized as the same. For the most part, you're going to have woodland views. The property is lush with trees. Some rooms will have views of the parking lot and therefore suffer slightly more from traffic noise than others. And some rooms, particularly the ones on higher up floors, will have partial views of Bay Lake. Now, these aren't full-on pristine, unobstructed lake views. Generally, because of all the foliage on property, you will end up having some of that in your view and blocking some of the view of the lake. But depending on the time of year and how lush the foliage is and your exact room and the angle, you may be able to see quite a bit of Bay Lake. If that's what you're hoping for, definitely request a room on the top floor. Especially worth noting if you end up with one of these lucky views is that you may be able to see the electrical water pageant from your room. Room sizes are fairly average and the layouts are also fairly standard. A few quirky things to note. The Murphy bed in studios, when pulled down, features some really cute Bambi artwork in the back. The 1-bedroom villas at Boulder Ridge do have 2 bathroom areas, but there is only 1 toilet. So while you have more bathroom space to be getting ready in the morning or to be winding down at night, there is only 1 toilet, so I would not personally consider that 2 full bathrooms. And the 2-bedroom villas feature a pretty massive walk-in closet, which can be great if you pack heavy and you want a space to store your stuff that's out of sight. The resort overall is small. Like I said, it is a 5-story freestanding building adjacent to the Wilderness Lodge. All of the Boulder Ridge Villas are housed in this single building, and it truly is right next to the Wilderness Lodge. So even if you are in a villa that's at the far end of the Boulder Ridge building, it's really not that far of a walk for you to get back to the Wilderness Lodge to get to your main amenities. And to navigate to these amenities, there is a covered walkway between the Boulder Ridge Villas building and the main Wilderness Lodge. Free transportation options from Boulder Ridge are going to be by boat or by bus. For theme parks, you can take a boat to the Magic Kingdom and everywhere else will be a bus. The boat launch to the Magic Kingdom is located past the main pool at the Wilderness Lodge. The bus depot you'll be using for Boulder Ridge is located outside of the lobby at Wilderness Lodge. So again, Boulder Ridge is not a standalone resort, meaning your transportation options are not right at Boulder Ridge. They are over at Wilderness Lodge, but because it's not a huge resort area, it shouldn't take you too long to get there. And while this does not always happen, do note that sometimes buses are shared between the Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge. The boats go around Bay Lake, meaning other than Magic Kingdom, you can also take a boat from Boulder Ridge over to Fort Wilderness as well as to the Contemporary Resort. This is a really fun bonus for resort hopping. No other resorts, though, are directly accessible via the free transportation. And while Boulder Ridge is very close to the Magic Kingdom and you absolutely are in the Magic Kingdom resort area, note that Boulder Ridge is not in the monorail resort area. So you can make your way to Magic Kingdom in order to get on that monorail, but you will not be located on the monorail line yourself. This will be a downside for some of you for sure, but on the upside, you are very close to the Magic Kingdom without being on the monorail line, which also means it's a much more quiet and relaxing environment. You are not dealing with that constant hustle and bustle of being on the monorail. If you will have a car during your stay at Boulder Ridge, there is no Boulder Ridge specific parking lot. You will be parking that car in the main parking area for Wilderness Lodge. You can, of course, try to find a space to park in that main parking lot closer to where you're staying in the Boulder Ridge Villas building. However, you just won't be parking right in front of that building right at your villa. So if it's pouring rain, this could be a downside because, of course, you won't be undercover and you won't be able to just take a few steps into your building. You will have to walk from the parking lot to your building. But again, it's not that far. It's really not a huge resort, and so this shouldn't be a huge deterrent for you, probably. Since this is not a standalone DVC resort, you will be using the Wilderness Lodge amenities. For pools, the Wilderness Lodge has the Silver Creek Spring Pool, which does offer a large water slide. Boulder Ridge, though, does have its own pool that was built recently, just in 2017. This cove pool features zero entry and also is themed after a rock quarry. Other recreation at the Wilderness Lodge includes your fitness center, arcade, bike rentals, watercraft rentals, fishing, playground, and a barbecue area with picnic tables. There's also a salon that offers manicures, pedicures, and hairstyling, as well as a portion of the health club where you can reserve time slots for things like facials and massages. Reunion Station, which is located near Geyser Point Bar and Grill, offers workshops for an additional fee. These can change, but past offerings have included photography with your phone, wine tastings, and cake decorating. And you can also always take that boat over to Fort Wilderness for even more recreation if you want. For dining options, note that there is no dining located in the Boulder Ridge building specifically itself. Your closest options will be at the Wilderness Lodge. Artist Point is now storybook dining with Snow White. This is a table service character meal offered for dinner only. Featured characters, of course, include Snow White, the Evil Queen, and typically dwarf friends like Grumpy and Dopey. Whispering Canyon Cafe is another table service option. Here, though, you can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Geyser Point Bar and Grill is an open-air location that offers lunch and dinner, as well as general bar service things like snacks and drinks. This is a sort of hybrid between quick service and table service. By that, I mean tables are open seating. You will choose a table yourself, but when you place your order, a waiter will bring your food to you. Geyser Point also has a quick service window that is far more your traditional counter service location, where you order and then you take your food with you. Roaring Fork is the quick service option open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is also where you'll refill your refillable mugs if you purchase those or receive them with the dining plan. The lounge near Artist Point is called Territory Lounge. This offers snacks, sweets, small plates, and drinks around dinner time. And the shop is called Wilderness Lodge Mercantile, and you will find various snacks and drinks, grab-and-go type stuff from here. So there is your overview of fast facts about the Boulder Ridge Villas. In my opinion, there's nothing too quirky about Boulder Ridge that stands out to me. The dining options offered at Wilderness Lodge are absolutely top-notch, so that may be a big deciding factor for you. And of course, that relatively cheap initial purchase price, especially on the resale market, even with that 2042 expiration date, may be a big upside for you. Let me know what you think of the Boulder Ridge Villas down in the comments below. Is there anything about Boulder Ridge that absolutely makes or breaks it for you? If you found this video helpful, I hope you give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much to all my returning viewers and subscribers. Ring that bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos, but generally speaking, it's every 4 days. And if you want to chat about anything Disney or Disney Vacation Club or related, leave a comment down below, or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. In my mind, the biggest con about Boulder Ridge simply is the rooms. I just don't love the style, but I am really anxious to see what it looks like after the renovations, and my mind may be 100% changed. I can't wait to hear what all of you think about Boulder Ridge. I hope the rest of your day is absolutely magical, and we'll see you next time at Pixie Dust PhD.